Hey, what's up guys? Sorry for missing last week's video. I felt like a bit of a breather was required from this channel. So I've been thinking a lot about the current state of the world right now. 2020 has been rather crazy. Things like COVID-19 reminds us that we're all human, or the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and the instances of racial hate crimes just bring all of these underlying societal issues to light. Before I really get into this video, these are just my thoughts and my experiences going through this as an Asian-born Canadian. I regret to say that there are a number of things in my life that I do take for granted, and I'm not always cognizant of my privilege, but I'm trying to become better and become more aware of what's happening around me and kind of spread that knowledge with everyone else. It took me three pieces of content to really get my from my favorite YouTubers to really get me to open up my mind about this specific topic. I don't generally like to be talking about politics because a lot of topics in politics are heavy topics. However, I'm trying to become more open-minded about the current state of things. Now, watching back these videos had different impacts on me. The first video I watched was of a YouTuber I started following from the Asian Creative Network. His name is Chris Chu, and he just talked about his experience as an Asian American. He talked about how Black culture affected him growing up, and although I can't really relate with that, I felt like I didn't really associate myself with Black culture. But then he mentioned Disney's That's So Raven, and it was crazy. I completely forgot that I watched that show a lot, actually. And when I really came to think about it, actually Black culture in itself has impacted our society so much wherever you go, regardless of what you're actually paying attention to. Another video I watched was Marques Brownlee's. He's a tech YouTuber who has seen a lot of success on this platform, and I've pretty much been watching him since like high school. What really hit me was how he talked about his success on the platform and talked about how as a Black person, after you reach a certain level of success, you kind of feel like it should be enough. Then you finish work, go home, and you still have the fear of being pulled over by a cop. That's something I never really had to worry about, let alone even think about. The third video being Casey Neistat's. He's a filmmaker originally from New York who inspired me through his daily vlogs to actually start my own vlogs. That is how I started my YouTube channel, which eventually became what it is today. He talked about why he's going out to the Black Lives Matter protests in LA, told the story of Breonna Taylor, and that very same day I felt the responsibility to go support and just see what was up with the BLM protest in Toronto. So I ended up going to a protest that Friday on June 5th, and it was a peaceful protest. It was very successful.
Black Lives Matter! 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 No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! No justice!
Being honest, I kind of started with the mindset that this doesn't really affect me when I first started hearing about some of the news. The fact that it took me 3 videos to become aware enough of my personal biases and to open up my mind to these new ideas is kind of sad in itself. I'm making this video in hopes of at least reaching one person to really open up their mind about learning more about this topic. It really shouldn't have taken so much influence to open up my mind, but the truth of the matter is that it did, so let's talk about it. I spent a lot of time over the last week and a half reflecting about my privilege, and it was really uncomfortable to think about at first. It's uncomfortable because it tells us the truth that we don't actually know ourselves as well as we think we do. We don't even have the choice to override our unconscious bias because it's at a unconscious level. One of my scariest personal experiences was being mugged by 3 Black guys when I was in high school. I walked by 3 guys who were a bit shorter than me. It was pitch dark, so I couldn't really see much. A couple of blocks down the line, one of them pulled me down, almost in like a headlock, but it was really just holding my shoulders, and the other 2 were grabbing for my phone. And in that experience, I felt like they were scared as well. They were just as scared as I was. It didn't seem like they wanted to be doing this. I could feel that the guy that pulled me down didn't want to hurt me. His grip was actually kind of loose. And looking back on this experience, I don't feel any hate for what happened. However, I do feel some sadness for what situation those guys might have been in to feel compelled to have to do that. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they needed money. Maybe they didn't have a strong role model to show them a good way to live their life. Maybe they had other issues. I don't really know. The reason I'm bringing up this story is because I want to remind myself and also remind others that you can't necessarily generalize your opinions based on only your personal experiences. It's important to listen to stories. It's important to keep an open mind. It's important to learn from others and just continue to learn more about yourself. When you feel the discomfort of unfamiliarity, it's a good thing. It's a chance for you to learn more and a chance for you to grow. I'll leave the videos that I saw from Chris, Marques, and Casey in the link down below. For some of my Chinese followers that are looking to explain anti-black racism to your aunties and uncles, or even your parents and grandparents, then there's also a resource that I came across shared from a friend that helps explain things in simple Cantonese. There's also a Mandarin transcript for that as well, which I unfortunately cannot explain to my family that way because I don't speak very good Cantonese. So what are my next steps? I'm not really in a financial position to be donating a whole lot of money. However, I do plan to continue to educate myself on this topic and learn about the history as well as listen to these stories. This is a heavy topic and a big change, so I'm just going to be taking it day by day. I hope this video got some thoughts running. If you feel like this video might help someone open up their mind, please feel free to share it with them.